So yesterday we are trying to take the fundamental definition of the data, and we just started understanding like why exactly we'll consider that as unorganized, and we just started understanding to keep it into the organized state, whatever kind of methodology you will be using or what kind of technology you use, that doesn't matter, but if it can increase the meaning of the data to the end user, and the end user is accepting the data that is very perfectly understood by him for the sake of the business what is conducting, definitely it is nothing but information. Now when coming to the metadata, there is a great deal of fundamental confusion among the beginners, where the general definition of the metadata goes as, if you take your books and if you are watching in your books, it says metadata is nothing but data about the data. Or certain times you will find the definition of the metadata as definition of the definition. Now for a person who is experienced by nature, understanding the definition is not difficult, but for a beginner, data about data, or whenever you say something, the definition of definition can be really looking confusing. So I just want to come very consciously on the process to understand what is exactly the rule of the metadata. Now what is the best thing you have to understand about metadata, and what are the technicalities that you really need to catch behind the metadata? Time tells us. It's a very vast process of exposure we need to have to understand the metadata, but by its fundamental sense, better take it very properly. The first thing what you should always understand is, metadata is also one kind of data, where this data is specially used for describing the properties and characteristics of the end user's data or the context of the data. Means if you are saying that you are having some business data with you, every business data has certain kinds of properties. Every business data will have certain kinds of features with which it gets recognized. Now, as a businessman, the businessman can understand the features, facilities and the properties of the business data. But as a developer, when you are not part of the business environment, and if you have to write programs and you need to develop some applications, how you can understand the data if you are not knowing the fundamental features and the kind of properties to which the data belongs to? So whenever you are presenting any data to the end user, the meaning of the data and the information that the data is revealing is only because of the metadata. Be very clear about that. So when a metadata is nothing but, it describes the properties and characteristics of the end user data and also specifies the context with which the data is being represented. So whenever you start talking about the properties, what we mean now? These are the minimum 6 properties any metadata has to definitely represent. By requirement, we can have more number of properties with respect to the state of analysis what the business analysts are conducting. But minimum these properties are compulsory. What are they? First thing is data name. Means that particular data what you are trying to identify within your business, it really belongs to what? What property it belongs to. The property what you are describing to represent that particular piece of the data within your business environment is called as data name. The second is values allowed. What kind of values are allowed into that particular piece of the data? I mean, the values that are allowed are criterially alphabetical by nature, they are numerical by nature, or they are combination of alphabets and numbers by nature. You have to definitely be clear about that. The third is the definitions. Definition in the sense, the exact situation, the circumstance, and the reason why the data is being collected. For any business data, when it is being collected, there should be some reason of requirement for which it is being collected. You cannot collect any business data without having fundamental reason to that situation and the circumstance. Next is the source of the data. Source means what is the domain or what is the area from where this data should be fundamentally collected. Means this data is originally being operated from which particular area of your domain. Means if it is a retail outlet system, this data has to be collected in the source of the inventory. This data has to be collected in the source of the retail outlet store. This data should be collected in the source of anything like purchasing. Means what is the source from where this particular data is being collected? Then length or size of the data. What is the minimum and maximum length we can collect for this particular data value? And ownership. Who is the original owner of this data? Original owner for collecting the data. The ownership for modifying the data. The ownership for deleting the data. The ownership for selecting the data. Means who are authorized for doing any kind of activity upon that particular data. Means that metadata is making your data more technical by nature. Therefore, for any data, if proper metadata is not applied, that particular data will lose its identity and its significance. We cannot give consistency and quality to that particular data if metadata is not applied properly. Now, there is one very important rule you should remember. Data comes from the business, and the data that is coming from the business needs description. But the description what we are applying on the data is called as metadata. So here let us understand one small point. Business environments are dynamic or they are non-dynamic? They are dynamic or non-dynamic? Dynamic. Business operations are ever changing or never changing? Ever changing. They will be ever changing. So whenever my business operations are ever changing, then definitely my structural state of that representation of the data also can change now. Now whenever my business is going for a change, imagine that my state of the data is definitely going to change. You can't stop it. But the state of the data when it is changing, its structural state also will go for a change. Now, whenever a structural state of a particular business changes, imagine every time you have to go for the sake of change of your application for operating the data, it's a huge maintenance. So, we are not against maintenance, but we have to always see that we can decrease the level of the maintenance as much as possible in the application. If maintenance is not decreased within the application, it absolutely creates a great lot of economical imbalance in your project. Therefore, database management systems are designed in such a way that they always go with one very important principle. The most important principle that is associated within your database management system says data, metadata is always kept separated. So why data, metadata has to be kept separated? When the structural state of the business changes, it should not affect the operational state of the data. When the operational state of the business is changing, for that the metadata should not go for the change now. Means we should restrict the maintenance to any one particular area of the business, but maintenance should not create a rippling factor in the overall project that is basically existing. So one of the very important principles we should always capture whenever we are dealing with the database management system is, are we designing a system in which, I am making the point very clear, are we designing a system in which the data and metadata are always getting separated or not? So if this separation does not happen, what happens? Any small maintenance that comes into your project, any small kind of change that comes into your project, that change will reflect the whole process of your application. Be very, very clear about that. So we don't expect for every small change the whole project to go for the sake of maintenance now. So all database management system softwares in the world will definitely design their architecture in such a way that maximum by 80% the maintenance is not affecting the overall state of the project. So that is one benefit we have when we are dealing with database management systems. So whenever you deal with the criteria of the metadata, what is the importance of the metadata? There are two kinds of actors in your overall project. There are two kinds of actors in your overall project. One, the people who design the system, architect the system, and analyze the system. The other kind of actors in your project are the programmers who are building the system. So every programmer in your project should definitely understand the architecture and the corresponding analysis of the project. No doubt about it. Why? Because an analyst never follows the programmer. A programmer or a developer should follow the analyst. That is a fact. Therefore, a programmer doesn't have any authority to say that I did not understand the analysis of this particular project. Understanding the rule of the analysis is the responsibility of the developer. Be very clear about it. A developer should never dare to say that my analyst is not designing the system according to my understandability. No analyst will design the system according to your understandability. He will design the system according to the understandability of the business and the client, not you. So whenever you deal with metadata, you should always understand one point. Metadata enables the database designers and the programmers to understand exactly in which form the data should exist in the business. Means because of the metadata only, the programmers and the analysts or the database designers, they come on to one common platform of thinking. If metadata is not there, everybody will be having his own imaginative process behind understanding the system. See, fundamental common sense of business everybody in the world will have, and we are not denying that. With common sense, no business can be run. With effectiveness only the business can be run. So by common sense, you got the general idea of the business, but you have to run the business with its entire effectiveness as exactly expected by your end user. That effectiveness in the business can be promised only when a proper metadata is designed. Therefore, for any application that is existing in the world, which is definitely a database management system application, it will exist with a proper metadata designed for that particular piece of the application. Now, being a beginner, you may have multiple different number of ambiguities certain times when I am speaking these areas. But slowly as you concentrate, I'll make the things clear to you. When I am discussing some issue, I definitely know where exactly you could be having a point of ambiguity. But as you are moving on, as you are coming along with me, you'll come out of those ambiguities. Be very clear about that. You may have your own anxiety like, I want the thing to be known now only. I'll never have anxiety to make the thing immediately known to you. Because certain things will be known to you only when you start following through the process. So, I want absolute concentration from you to the next levels if you want to understand everything what we have been speaking till now. Generally, when you go for any application to be developed, okay, I'm just making the point very generalized now. When you're getting into any particular application to be developed, metadata is not something your senior will sit and explain to you. That's the first thing. Second, depending upon the type of the project, depending upon the type of the application, depending upon the type of the technology what you're adapting, depending upon the type of architecture and the model you're preferring, the presentation state of the metadata can change. But the main concept of the metadata is same. Therefore, you cannot expect that metadata should always be represented and presented in a particular type of style what you're expecting. Be very, very clear about that. So, you just watch here. This is one kind of style with which a metadata representation can come to you when you're dealing with your database management system projects. So, like you need to develop any system. A system is always a collection of objects and events, we said. An object is definitely nothing but representing some data that is essential for executing that business now. Now, what is the data that is essential for executing the business as a developer? How you will know? Unless and until you never spoke with your client and you never spoke with the area where the business is happening. So, definitely as a developer, you are never given any opportunity to go and talk to your client and start working on the system. Now, without me speaking with my client and without participating in the system, how I can develop an application now? So, my bridge of communication is my analyst. My bridge of communication is my architect or any functional consultant. Now let us understand few things. A consultant will go to the client and he will talk to the client to understand the client's business with a series of sessions to which he is discussing through the process. Sometimes a consultant could have spent anything not less than 40 hours of time with the client to understand what should be done as per his business is concerned. 40 hours of discussion between the client and your consultant is not a joke. Now that same 40 hours of time he will never spend with you once again to explain what has happened with the client. First understand this. If your consultant is spending 40 hours of time with the client to understand one segment of the business for which he has to develop the application, he will convert that entire 40 hours of his communicative experience with the client into a model. He converts it into one kind of model. And that model is designed by him out of his experience and exposure. And he will try to put that into proper structure what he feels it is convenient for him and his developer to communicate. And that is what he presents to the general developer, and that presentation can be just a span of anything minimum 20 minutes and maximum 1 hour. Means finally his 40 hours of communicative experience, he will try to keep it in front of you where you are a developer in just a span of 20 minutes to 1 hour. In the 20 minutes to 1 hour, what he presents is some structure that it should make you understand the criteria of the business and its properties, what he is expecting from you. The corresponding structure, what your consultant or your analyst is presenting in front of you, which may contain very few properties or many properties, I don't care. And when he is explaining this particular structure, you are nothing but getting explained with the metadata of that particular business environment. So your consultant is telling you, in order to maintain the employee's information, I need one property to describe the employee by his name, and that particular property can be represented with the data in alphanumeric form to the length of 30 characters. We don't have any minimum and maximum allocation specified because we are already applying that it is 30. And second thing is values in alphanumeric state don't have any minimum value and maximum value. Now here, if you are a developer, you may get one confusion or you may get a doubt. Saying that, sir, employee names are generally alphabets by nature. Now why is it that you are representing that as alphanumeric? This is called as clarification. So as a developer, you have the authority to take clarifications on the design. Be very clear about that. Nobody will stop you in taking clarifications on the design. Then your consultant will tell you, yes, that's very clear, but as far as the applications and technologies are concerned in the world, I do know that there is no special data type which is called as only alphabetical data type. There is no data type called as only alphabets data type. So I am just keeping the type as alphanumeric only to tell you that you design this particular system with an alphanumeric type. When programmers are coming into this system, I will tell them that they have to write a sustainable logic in such a way that from the end user, when the data inputs are done, it should only accept the alphabets, rejecting the numbers. Now that kind of logic is not possible in the design state of the database. Therefore I am saying it is alphanumeric. He just gave you the clarification to the technology. Operationally, how it will be controlled, he explained to you. In that project, you are the person who is designing the structure and you are the same person who is designing the program. Without understanding to what your consultant has said, I don't think you can do any great programming from your side, even if you learn 1,000 examples from this particular class. So metadata is going to help as a communication tool between you and your particular designer such that we both can understand the system effectively by its implementation. The same way is explaining that the second field is representing the department number, which is a property for which the employee should belong, and this is purely an integer by nature, having the maximum size of 2 digits for every employee's department number, where the department number minimum it should start with 10 and maximum it can go up to 90. Anything below 10 is not acceptable. Anything above 90 is not acceptable, and it is an integer. Is going to give you a data type that is in general to what we speak. He'll never try to speak about a data type exactly what your technology is representing. Now in your technology, integer is declared as int or it is declared as anything, he don't cares. He only tries to tell you this is the type of the data. So don't you think that we are describing the business data the way it should exist as far as our system is concerned now? So that description is very clearly telling the programmer what is the responsibility he should take in building the system to catch the data which is fitting to those properties and behaviors. That's how metadata is always describing the properties and behaviors of your business data. Therefore, any database management system developer, you know whatever commands, that is only by time you will know. But you can't understand to the standard what exactly the designer is expecting from you in developing that system. You are going to be a 100% failure after this entire technology is completed. Therefore, be very clear. If I am speaking something today, I have its implementation maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow. But when I am coming to that implementation day after tomorrow, I will never go back by at least one day. Be very clear about that. Therefore, when you are sitting in the class, today's concentration will make you operate along with me for tomorrow. So yesterday I was sitting in your class but I was not concentrative. I don't care about that. I am concentrative. I believe that only. Why? Because once you are sitting in that chair, leaving all your personal things outside and putting your brain only to this class is your job, not my job. Therefore, sir, after coming into the class, I felt sleepy and I was sleeping. You can do anything in my class. Sir, I'll get my baggage and I'll put my bed and I'll sleep. I'll not stop you. You gave 2,000 rupees. You want to sleep, you can sleep. I don't stop you. But don't disturb the other people while you're sleeping. That's all. So I don't pamper the process. Therefore, sir, I didn't listen what you said. You have to listen. That's your job. That's your job. 9 o'clock I started my process. Till 10, 10:15 I am leaving. You have to be in absolute concentration. Sir, how it is possible? Now that is your job, not my job. I am concentrative or not, I will check. So let us be as per the rule. Nowhere I will adjust my rules for sake of any single individual. Be very clear about that. So metadata is not complicated. Metadata just starts in the most simplest way. It has much lot of things to do. Chapter by chapter, as I am rolling, I will be going on extending through the process. Depending upon the size of your project, depending upon the size of your application, depending upon the number of features, associated facilities, the metadata structure definitely can have variations by the technology and by the kind of people who are expertise. They were expecting that metadata should be only in this particular form is not a rule, man. Be very clear. It is only a structure that is designed to keep you and your designer to understand the system perfectly. I am putting some rough sketch on my white paper and I am talking to my end user. End user is nothing but my developer. My developer is understanding my rough diagram. That is metadata. Finish. My end user says that, sir, I am unable to understand this. Then I will adjust my metadata till he understands it. But I will never draw the metadata as expected by my junior. What I am trying to say as a senior, my junior has to catch. This is fundamental principle of software industry. First understand this. So, Can we say what is exactly meant by database management systems now? 20 years back, if the same question comes, I'll simply say database management systems is a principle of rules. It's a principle of rules that tell us how we should organize and arrange the data for highest amount of consistency and accuracy for the business environments. Following those rules and regulations, programmers have to sit and develop one software. That is what we can say 20 to 25 years back. But today, if you are asking me the definition, I'll simply say database management systems is one kind of software. Means today we have database management systems which are developed as softwares and they are readily available. So when database management systems are softwares that are already developed and they are readily available, then why we are sitting and trying to learn that? Database management system softwares are developed. Using those database management system softwares, you have to develop database management system applications to the end users. Applications are not developed. So, you have to develop an application that is demanded by the business client as per the requirement of his business. So, for that particular client level business application, you have to take the support of the database management system softwares. So, if I don't take the database management system software, will there be any problem? Nothing. You can develop any database management system application without a database management system software also. But instead of writing million lines of code in a core technology or a language, if you take a database management system software for developing your application, you can complete the job in 1000 lines. Productivity difference will come. Accuracy is very high. Consistency is definitely promised. Reliabilities can never be questioned. So these all advantages are existing in database management system software. Therefore, a database management system is nothing but one special kind of software which helps you to create, maintain and provide controlled access to the end user's database or database application. What do we mean by this creating, maintaining and providing controlled accessibility? Means if I take my database management system software, it makes me work with my fundamental common sense as a technologist, integrated to the principles what this software is already having. What are the correct tables that are essential to store the data for the business of the client? How these particular structures have to be interconnected and integrated such that they can always remember the rule of the business and make the business to operate under that particular rule thoroughly, continuously without losing that particular consistency. How exactly I can make my system to work more faster with more accuracy and consistency. These kind of fundamental features are always packed into database management system softwares. So the only responsibility I have is what now? As a developer, I have two responsibilities. One, understanding the business process of the client. Two, understanding the features and facilities of the database management system software. Take these features and facilities of the database management system software and check how they can fit according to the need and necessity of the business application what the client is expecting. So I am acting as what now, or you are acting as what? We both are acting as a bridge of fundamental communication, utilizing the database management system software on one side and understanding the business process of the client on the other side, and develop one application that can be used by the client in conducting his business in an effective way. My point is very clear now. I have always seen students sitting in the class who are only interested in understanding the database as a software with few commands and few syntaxes and statements. But what fundamentally I feel is, you know everything in the technology, that is good. But technology alone cannot do its job directly. Technology has to be configured as per the requirement of the client and his business process effectively. How you can be a successful database management system developer if you cannot understand the rule of the business process with which the client is running his business now? Therefore, you are expecting a long-standing career in your particular IT. Learning a technology is not important. Understanding the business process requirements of a client is also very important. Out of every 10 people who work in IT, 6 people definitely know that they will lose their job within 1.5 years. Out of the remaining 4 people, 2 people are always in fundamental pressure, not knowing when they will lose the job. Only 2 people will work in IT sector happily without pressure. This is a fact. So why the remaining 90% people are in that particular stage? Simple. Learning the technology the way it has to be learned, if it is not done, you will never know any problem from this classroom. After you get into your job, every day you will feel that you are having some unwanted pressure in your life. You can handle the pressure, you can handle the people, your life continues. You cannot handle the people, you cannot handle the pressure, you will come outside. Therefore, you can have great anxiety in your learning process, that I have to do all these things today only, but I will not have that anxiety in my life. Why? Because how you should do this technology, in which way if you do this technology, you can take a long-standing 20-25 years of career. Absolutely, I have a plan and I know that. In that particular construct only I will be going. Why? Because if I have to make you people be part of the industry in a very proper way, first you should know what you have to do with this technology. You should not know how to use the technology. So, understand, database management system softwares, they have certain features and facilities. Because of that, you can develop applications easily. Now, what are the features and facilities this database management system softwares are having to develop your applications easily? If you do not know, then you will be one level of failure. Second, features and facilities are available where? In the software. But operations and executions are actually where? In the business. Now, does this particular feature and facility looks exactly suitable to this business? How you will know? Therefore, knowing only the features and facilities will not give the success. Analyzing the system to understand the operations and executions and making them come and fit into these features and facilities will make the process to be successful. Therefore, how many times you can just interconnect your real-time system with your software system, it all depends on the kind of discussions what we are having in the class. Therefore, whenever you try to talk about a database management system software, it is a database management system software coming from Oracle. It is a database management system software coming from Microsoft. It is a database management system software coming from IBM or any XYZ giant in the world, that doesn't matter. Every database management system software should definitely provide systematic methodology of creating the storage structures, updating the data in those storage structures, storing the data and retrieving of the data from the storage structure. Systematic methodology means what? Let us understand one small thing, man. Early in the morning, when my retail outlet store is open, okay, early in the morning when my retail outlet store is open, the stock of one particular item is 500 units. At 10 o'clock, my first sale has started. The sale requirement of the end user or my customer was 100 units of that item. Now I went and cross-verified the stock. The demand of the customer is less than the stock that is available, so I can definitely execute my sale. My sale process was completed, the bill was generated, and it was released, and the customer went away. When I am working with my second sale, I definitely expect that my stock is decreased by 100 and it should show me 400 units only. Means, if on one side I am collecting the information for the sale, catch my words carefully, on one side in my business process I am collecting the information of the sale, and sale is completed, automatically I am expecting another business process to run in the background without my knowledge to decrease and update my particular stock. This is called as systematic methodology of creating, updating, accessing, deleting. Means according to the requirement of the system by relations, everything should get completed. Let us take another simple example. You went and joined in one of the collegemen. Now I think you are making your fundamental admission to be confirmed in the admissions department of your college. Now within your college you have given all your personal details and everything, whatever they are expecting, and they have entered all the details and they have taken the fees and they have given you one receipt, and they also gave you one, say like admission card or admission information. After that you are expecting to take some books from the library, and you went into the library. Now the moment you went into the librarian is asking you, can you tell me your admission number? The moment you gave the admission number, he took the admission number and is asking you, please give me all the personal details of yours. I don't know what is your reaction, but my reaction will be very irritative. I will simply tell the librarian, admission number is given to you. If you want any personal details of mine, go and collect from the admission department. Don't ask me. I have all the authority to take the books. Give me the books what I want. Collecting personal information is your job. Why? Because I gave my information in the admission department. It means that anywhere in the college I go personally, my information should be well known to them. I am not there in the college to write my personal details 100 times every day. When you have completed your process in one place of the business, as an object you migrate into another particular area of your business, your data should automatically travel there. That is systematic methodology and approach. So, database management system softwares, when you take them into your hands, they will provide all these kind of systematic approaches with features and facilities. But as a developer, understanding your business, how to correlate them and how to integrate them, you do not know. Now that's your mistake. It's not the mistake of the database management system software. They were sitting in this class, when you say that you're learning database management systems, you have to learn the purpose of implementation of the database management system softwares, not just learning some commands and type some examples and say that I know all the commands of the database management system software. Like you, 1,000 people in the market know all the commands of database management system softwares and waiting for an eagerly job since last 2-3 years also. So, can you put the things into the practice and apply them for implementation by the time the course gets completed? Therefore, for all these things to happen effectively and take the things into the process of implementation, every database management system software has its own expectations. So, the next 15 minutes what I am speaking, you have to catch. Especially for people who are trying to seriously come into the industry, we will finalize few introspective standards here. What are they? See, finally after this class is completed, you will say you know Oracle9am, no doubt about it. And you'll also say in your resume, I know SQL and PLSQL. Why I should get excited to select your resume, tell me? Because in that particular database where I will search my resumes for finding the people who can join my company, there are million resumes that are saying that they know databases with Oracle, SQL and PLSQL. So why I should get excited with your resume now? Better try to find a answer for this by the time you complete your course. There are many students who will come and tell me, sir, I uploaded my resume. What wonders have happened? You uploaded your resume. What wonders will happen? Like you, million resumes are there in the Naukri. You are one among them. When I am searching for resumes, do you think that as a consultant I'll search all million resumes? Do you think that I'll open every single resume and read name, house number, phone number? Nothing. My Naukri database should tell me which is the best resume. Only those top 10 resumes what my Naukri keeps aside and says, I felt these are the best resumes. In that way, 10 resumes as one set, maximum 10 sets I will see. So, is your resume is in that 10 sets at least. So, let us be very clear about certain things now. Your excitement and anxiety will not make you get through the process. You should clearly know how to make yourself get identified in the market that you are one of the best database developers. Now let us just take the other factor properly. Like when we are conducting the interviews, out of 100 people who came into that particular interview, you are one among them. Why I should feel excited with you only? Remaining 99 people are also having the same technology, no? So please try to understand, we don't take technology with human emotional standards. First understand this. In my company, I'm having a project for database and I'm having 10 requirements there. And I have in my company 25 people who know technology of databases and they are free. What is the single point that you can prove that you can be selected by me internally in the company to become part of that particular project of database where 10 requirements are there? As a senior, why I should select you and make you become part of that particular project? Even suppose like I made you become part of the project today, as a senior, why I should not remove you by tomorrow? Even if you have been accepted in the project today by your client, what is the guarantee that in next week the client will never recommend me and says that please remove that person from the project, I am feeling that he is not looking suitable for our project. So many number of things are there. So we are speaking on all the negatives. When we understand the negatives only we can build the positive. I don't want to tell any particular story that life is so beautiful now, okay? No way. Make it beautiful by putting it in a proper way. I don't want to make any mockery of the process by putting the things in a hypocritic state now. Finally, one thing, you are standing in front of me in my professional life. I should feel that you are the best person to shake hands with you. Else, I will not even shake my hand and look into your face. What is the single attitude you have with you that I can feel you are one person with whom I can shake my hands? These are the main things you have to also know rather than knowing the technology. Let me tell you very frankly. Therefore, I have seen many number of students, generally they say like, I have learned Oracle. If I am there, I say like, so what? So what? No, Oracle is one of the best technology in the world. Oracle is best technology. You are not the best, no. Are you the best? In that best Oracle technology. Don't market yourself keeping the brand of Oracle in front of you. Because we believe Oracle is no doubt the best. But can I believe you are the best to implement that Oracle? So, my next few points what I am speaking are only to tell you that. Therefore, when you say that you are an Oracle developer, what is my expectation? If I am thinking of selecting you, I am making it very clear. If I am having these expectations, I know very well in the world, anybody in the senior position will expect the same things. Second, I have purchased an Oracle license. Now, Oracle license is purchased only to see that I can develop an application in Oracle. Oracle is not developing any application. Oracle is giving you only the software. Now, if Oracle Corporation says that my software is the best, okay, but I have to recruit employees who are called as software engineers and programmers who can develop the best application out of this best software. So are you a best application developer? Don't tell me you are a best Oracle guy. Are you a best Oracle application developer? So anytime you are developing a database management system software application, we have certain expectations definitely, that is, enable end users and application programmers to share the data. By the time I complete this course, can you provide that facility or not? You have to cross-verify yourself. So that when we will try to understand that facility, there is no specific agenda like on November 25th I will discuss this with you now. Okay, I don't have any timetable like that. Tomorrow what I will discuss, it only depends on what I spoke with you today to what length. Therefore, don't keep anything like on this day this topic will get completed. If I go like that, no, absolutely we can do it in that way, but that agenda will never help you anywhere. So when you are saying that you are an application developer with databases, one of the question I have is, can you design an application for me where your database application can promise me that it can enable end users and application programmers to share the data simultaneously at the same time? Sir, what do you mean by this? Simple man. You went into your ATM center, pushed your card inside, entered your PIN number, selected the process for withdrawal, and you're getting one small message on your ATM monitor, server is under the maintenance, please try after some time. How many times you are happy with this message? Definitely I am not happy. If you are happy, that's your problem. I am not happy. Then why the hell I need a machine for this workman? Can't I go at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock into the bank, write one withdrawal form, stand in the queue, put it into the cash counter and take my cash? Then why the hell I have an ATM outside saying 24/7 services now? The same way, early in the morning, you are in a very big urgency, you got connected to your bank account online, you went and you started moving in, your account information is visible to you, and you selected the payment stand and you're about to schedule the payment and you're getting one wonderful message. This facility is temporarily suspended, please try after some time. How many times as an end user you are happy now? Even today I think those things are happening. But when you come into the very specifically practical companies, we don't expect a reason like, because my programmers are doing some work on the application, end user cannot share the data currently. It is not acceptable. Can you give me an application in such a way that application programmers and the end users simultaneously they can share the data and they can do their job without disturbing their work at any point of time? So how this facility can be given? Let us wait and check. That's the reason I think you are sitting in these classes. But when you come into the interview room, you keep your project as an experienced person. My question is, can you tell me a scenario in which you have designed the software or you designed the logic in your application where the application programmers and the end users, they share the data without disturbing with one another in their process of implementation? Out of experience, can you explain the scenario from your project? Now you don't tell like, sir, I can create tables. You explain the scenario. You don't explain what Oracle has. I don't want what Oracle has. You explain me whatever features Oracle is having that you have taken and implemented in which way in your project for this. I'll accept it. People keeping experience, be very clear from your side. You cannot bluff the system. I'm making it very, very clear to you. Because your perspective will be different, our perspective is very different when we are talking to you in the interview rooms. Second, enable data shared among multiple applications. Enable data shared among multiple applications. The best example is, are you not withdrawing your money today where your actual bank account is in SBI, but you are withdrawing your money from an ATM that is basically belonging to ICICI? Imagine 10 years back, what was the story? If you have your bank account in one particular bank called as SBI, you have to withdraw the money only from the SBI ATM only. But I am not interested like that. I am having my account in such a kind of bank. When I traveled outside my city, I am into a particular type of place, my bank is not at all there in that particular location. Now, shall I need to suffer and shall I need to take the agony and the pain because I don't have an account in the bank that is provided by that particular city? Today I don't think it's happening. We are definitely able to withdraw the money from any bank to any ATM. Today, are you not enjoying the facility of transferring your fund directly with the help of a e-wallet that is provided by your banks from your mobile phone? I don't think a mobile phone is the interface of a particular computer with any particular construct. Now, what is the technology of the software you are using in your mobile operations to the technology of the software that is used in your banking servers? But are they not communicating with one another and they are expecting a fund to get transferred now? These are all the best examples for enabling the data shared among multiple applications. Are you not making a call from your particular mobile where your connectivity is of Airtel, talking to your friend who is basically having a number on Vodafone? These two particular mobile operators are not working on the same architecture with the same technology, but even then the communication is getting established. So my client can have any application of any type in the world, but can you design a system in which your data can be shared among these applications, whatever is their particular criteria of the architecture? Try to understand these things. The best examples, there are millions of examples we can speak like this. Are you not trying to get into some websites called as mytrip.com, inquiring for the sake of a particular flight, what you want to travel from one city to another city, and your mytrip.com is giving you the facility and the details of all the types of flights of all the different kinds of vendors in one single page, and also telling you what is the best price which particular flight vendor is giving to you. And when you are making the payments and your booking, your information is automatically getting transferred from mytrip.com database application to select your booked a flight for suppose Jet Airways. It is going to the Jet Airways database. Your payments are done to that particular flight from your bank account personally to the mytrip.com, and mytrip.com is retransferring that amount to the Jet Airways banking account. Are you not doing flight check-ins directly from the web nowadays without going to the airport? What are these kind of applications? And we say, like, generally students ask me, sir, are they real-time databases? What are you speaking is real-time only, I hope so. Sitting in the class, you want to learn databases, or sitting in the class, you want to experience databases. Choice is yours. But once you complete the course and you come and sit in front of us, we expect how much you can implement. We don't ask you, first round maybe is going to check your subject matter. Second, third and fourth rounds are not at all subject, totally concepts and implementations. And whenever you are storing the data, data should be stored in the form of files. Generally, the concept says that for every type of data we need one file, but databases strictly say that you can have your data in any number of categories, but you should not store the data in different number of files. I may have the library data, I may have the students' admission data, I may have examinations data, I may have any other data, but this data should not be in 4 different files. All should be in one single file. So keeping the data which is highly categorized by nature into one single file, how I can give consistency to my end user? That is what is your job by the time you complete this course. That is what you have to promise. You just come and say that I know databases, I don't care. Can you promise me to design a database which can work with very critical classifications of the data without creating multiple files at any point of time? And finally, every database management system software should definitely provide the facility for controlling the data access. Controlling the data access means a bank manager should see the data only what the manager should see. A clerk should see the data what the clerk should see. A loan management information engineer should see the data for loan management. Means all the data should be in one single database only. But whenever somebody is connecting to my particular database server, it has to understand the actor who is getting connected and distribute and show the data only that particular actor needs. How you can make your database management system software understand who is manager, who is clerk, who is cashier, who is XYZ. Therefore, no way personal data of one particular object should be ever shared by another object without authentications. Now you cannot tell that, sir, all these facilities are there in my database. Your database has these facilities, why I will select you? And I will not select you if database is having these facilities. No. From the database which has these facilities, as a programmer, can you develop these things or not? I'm not selecting you and I'm trying to keep you in my company, paying you thousands of rupees just because you pull your keyboard, log in, username, password and sit there. Don't tell that, sir, Oracle has these facilities, MS SQL Server has these facilities. Those databases that are having these facilities or not, we don't care. Once I give you the job and I expect these facilities, can you provide me or not? Keep yourself very clear. By the time you get into the systems, you should be only a person who can understand the problem, analyze and implement it. Manage concurrency control. It is one of the biggest challenge in the world today. Concurrency control in the sense, on my server, even if million users are already connected and they are actively operating, the next person should not get any message of disconnection. No way. Are you not irritated when you are making a call to your particular friend and you are getting a message, all lines in this direction are busy? You go and ask any Indian, you take a fundamental survey when in these 2 streets only, how many Indians are definitely happy with the mobile services that are provided by any mobile vendor in last 1 year? Means, are we developing wonderful systems in the world or blunders? Even today it's a fact, I hope so. So who says that there are no jobs? We need best people to come and develop the best things in the world where there is a vacuum even today. So concurrency is one of the biggest challenge today. How many times you are very happy connecting to your railway reservation system in the Tatkal time? Today you type a login, tomorrow you will get the output. And just understand the rule of concurrency and you just check your railway reservation system, what blunders are there. You make 7 inquiries or 8 inquiries, it says this session has to be closed, your maximum reach of search is completed. Who is railways to just control me that after I get into its website or web server, it has to give me only 7 searches, man. In one session, only 1 reservation will be given to you. If you are asking the second one, disconnect and reconnect. What is this? And you go and ask them why they are doing like that. the top level officers, they don't know anything. They say like for security. What kind of security you're providing? No. Enhance your infrastructure and ability. So, concurrency is one of the fundamental mechanisms that is the biggest challenge, because even if all the people in the world are connected to your server, there should be a space for the next person to get connected and take the services. Are you happy when you are connecting to Amazon like sites and Flipkart like sites, when they are announcing some wonderful sale process and you're connecting and the server is saying that please wait in the queue, the server is already busy? Why it never happens on those servers? Imagine what kind of criteria, infrastructure and programming ability they expect from you people. That's what I'm saying. There is a 10,000 rupees job for database, there is a 10 lakh rupees job also for database. You want which one? You have to keep it in your mind. Finally, restoring the data and system failure. Any machine in the world will fail. Nobody can stop it. But what is a guarantee you can give me for my data after recovery? A server suddenly got crashed. You can't stop it because it's an electronic device. After the recovery is done, what is the least time of recovery? Along with that, what is the promise of the restoration of the data? Server started, you entered one query now, server returned with a message, no rows selected. And you are trying to watch out now. You got a wonderful message, all your data in your machine is now lost and corrupted, restart your system and your business for the first time once again. Imagine one insurance company's database server is crashed and it is saying that we don't have any more information of the people who got insured now. Try to understand how we are fixed in the world today with database services. And every time I have certain questions from students like, sir, if I learn databases, do I have a wonderful career? Learn the databases the way you should learn to have a wonderful career. You don't learn the databases the way the industry is expecting. See, you learn in your own way, man, and you come to me. How I can promise you a career, man? My company will never run according to you, no. You have to run according to my company. First understand this. So, try to understand certain factors very clearly. So, majority of the times I find students saying like, sir, if I learn this technology, will I have a good career? Learn the technology in such a way that you can have a good career. Your learning perspective is different and you are expecting something else. It will not happen. By the time I complete my course, in which chapter I will complete which one, you have to calculate, okay? I gave you my agenda in front of you. So by the time I complete this course, can you find them or not? Therefore, day by day as you are sitting, day by day you are enhancing. Remember that. So, once we are coming into the construct of the databases and we start implementing them, nothing has happened in one single day. I don't take you into the history of the databases and the timeline, but we'll just make a very quick review of from where they started, how they moved and what they are today. Because we should definitely know the process with which they are being moving in the markets. So, anything I am going to discuss in the coming days, keeping the focus towards what is the expectation of the system, I will be going. Your expectation is only the software. I am the most inconvenient person for you. Your expectation is application and implementation by the software. Even if I tell you don't sit in my class, you will sit. Because you and I are on the same platform of balance. So locate yourself. So generally I will be having few queries like, sir, one of my friend has promised me that if I just learn the software, they will give me a job. 100% bluff. To manage you, he said that. First tell your friend to control his job and capture and keep his job safe now. Okay? Nobody in the world will take responsibility for you, because in IT sector, I will never tear my skin because of you. Because if I recommend anybody, he should be at par with the equivalent skill sets of mine, then only will recommend. Else I will lose my credibility. So let us not speak on human relations then, okay? Let us speak only on system relations. Just said with that, let us check in next 24 hours what's waiting for us to catch ourselves better into the databases side. Thank you once again, tomorrow with you.